WordPress is the most popular content management system on the internet to date. By integrating it with services such as content delivery networks like Vultr CDN, enables efficient delivery and faster caching for your WordPress site. Hello there, welcome to this Vultr Tech Talk. My name is Humphrey Pyre and I am a developer architect here at Vultr. In today's Tech Talk, join me as we discuss supercharging WordPress performance with Vultr CDN Pull Zones. And by doing so, you enable faster caching and improved content distribution for your WordPress site. And to begin with, what's Vultr CDN Pull Zones? Vultr CDN Pull Zones are part of the Vultr Content Delivery Network service that allow you to specify an origin server to pull content from and enable the dynamic distribution of this content. Vultr CDN Pull Zones support custom domains, which enables you to mask the original Vultr CDN hostname with your own domain record. And since pull zones are associated with your origin server, they optimize cached content using gzip compression and additional features such as blocking AI bots to ensure that your web application is faster and can be accessed by all users in multiple locations. And when used with WordPress, Vultr CDN Pull Zones continuously pull the latest WordPress content changes with automatic updating and an option to actually purge any data that is stored on the CDN. So, how about integrating WordPress with Vultr CDN Pull Zones? By integrating WordPress with your Pull Zone endpoint, you enable storage of WordPress assets in multiple regions across the world. This process also enables efficient content delivery and optimization, which in turn boosts the entire WordPress performance. And if you have themes and plugins that need CDN integration, integrating Vultr CDN Pull Zones enhances the performance of existing WordPress themes and plugins to ensure that they function well while delivering your content faster to your WordPress site visitors. And in return, integrating WordPress with Vultr CDN Pull Zones improves the overall WordPress speed and search rankings in return, since website visitors actually load your site faster and search engines can easily crawl content on your WordPress site. And among the best compatible plugins you can use with WordPress to integrate Vultr CDN Pull Zones include WP Total Cache, WP Fastest Cache, WP Supercharge, and CDN Enabler plugins that enable a caching layer and forward content to your Vultr CDN Pull Zone for delivery to your site visitors. And so, based on this background, let me take you right into a demo where we shall actually explore how you can use WordPress with Vultr CDN Pull Zones. In this particular demo, we shall use a custom domain with Vultr CDN Pull Zones and use a caching plugin to actually integrate the Vultr CDN and ensure that all content and assets such as images, JavaScript files, and CSS files are delivered from the CDN instead of the main WordPress server. And so, without any further ado, let me take you right into this demo process. So, to get started with that demo process and see how you can actually integrate WordPress with Vultr CDN Pull Zones, I have already deployed a WordPress server using the Vultr Open Lightspeed WordPress Marketplace application, and it's located in the Vultr New Jersey location, which is the United States, as you can see in this particular output. So, to get started with Vultr CDN Pull Zones, let's go ahead and expand the CDN drop down right here and click Pull Zones. Right on this CDN Pull Zones page, let's click Add CDN Pull Zone. Right on the label here, let's call this My CDN. And I have my simple domain right here, which is the origin URL, which is techwithhumphrey.biz. To just verify this, I already have this WordPress site right here with that exact domain name. And on it, you can see it has the default WordPress page, and it uses this particular domain that I'm using as the origin URL. So let's go back to the Vultr Customer Portal, and now that we have actually defined the origin URL, let's select some of the features we want. So for instance, let's turn on compression, which is gzip compression. So now that this is turned on, this will ensure that our content is actually compressed before it's actually delivered to the users. Now let's use a custom domain, which is an amazing feature that allows you to mask the Vultr CDN Pull Zone endpoint with your own domain. So let's check this And now you can see right here that we are prompted for some SSL certificates. First off, let's actually define the custom domain we would like to use with our Vultr CDN Pull Zone. So you can use whichever custom domain you want, but it should be in a subdomain format. And now to proceed forward, we are prompted for these SSL certificates that we actually need to configure in order to proceed forward. So to actually do that, this is simply for demonstration purposes. Let me go into the Vultr DNS page and let's open this in a new tab. Let me set up a simple subdomain for the particular domain, which is mycdn.techwithhumphrey.biz. And if you go back to the CDN page right here, enter mycdn and use the main record as the WordPress server, which is this public IP right here. Paste the data and let's add the record. So if I go right into my server's SSH session right here, so now that we have access to this WordPress server's SSH terminal, we need to generate some SSL certificates we can use with our Vultr CDN Pull Zone. So to do that, let's first off disable LSWS, which is the Open Lightspeed service profile. So now let's generate some SSL certificates using certbot. So let's do a sudo certbot cert only and use a standalone web server that is built in with certbot. And let's define our domain, which is mycdn with humphrey.biz. Let me define my email, which is ham@ham.com, and let's agree to the Let's Encrypt terms. And if we do generate a new SSL certificate, we can see that we have an error here. So let's correct that a little bit. Now, if you click enter again, you can see that the certificate request process is now on. And if this domain is correctly pointed here, you can see in this particular output, it's pointed and we have a new SSL certificate served at this particular path. So now that we have some SSL certificates right here, let's go ahead and use SFTP to fetch them to my local workstation in order to upload them in the Vultr CDN setup page. So let me access SFTP in my terminal emulator here, and let's use the root directory, and let's enter the path manually, which is let's encrypt, and let's go to the archive directory to see what files we have there. And you can see that we have two domains right here. One is mycdn and one is my main domain. So let me open mycdn, and right within here we are interested in two files, which is full chain and private key. So let's move these files to my local workstation directory. And as they're moving, you can see that the transfer is successful. So we can go back and start our Open Lightspeed web server again. So now that I have browsed my local directory and uploaded these full chain1.pm and private key.pm files that we actually need as the private key and certificate secret key to use with our custom domain, let's go ahead and click Add CDN Pull Zone. Just give this process something like a second to load, and let's verify the changes that we actually just applied. So now that our Vultr CDN Pull Zone is actually created, you will notice that if we load this CDN endpoint domain, it will not actually load because all requests have to come through our CDN Pull Zone custom domain. So in this case, now that we do not need this name record anymore, let's go ahead and delete it and create a CNAME record instead. So with a CNAME record, let's go ahead and use my CDN that we used with our CDN Pull Zone. Now let's copy our CDN Pull Zone hostname here and paste it as data here and remove this connection scheme and ensure that it's simply the custom domain right here. So let's add the record. So let's go ahead and actually test this domain if it loads correctly in a new browser tab. So if we load it, you can actually see that our WordPress site loads correctly as if it's on the original site. So if we inspect the content right here and see where this WordPress site is actually being served from and click sources, you can actually see that all content is being served from our CDN endpoint, whereas some content, which is the main content, is served from our main WordPress server. So now let's go ahead and integrate our Vultr CDN Pull Zone with WordPress. So if I go back and access my WordPress dashboard right here, and let's add a new plugin. So as noted earlier, multiple plugins are compatible with Vultr CDN Pull Zones. And in this case, let's use something like WP fastest catch. Right within the search results, let's click install now on this first result, which is fastest catch, and let's activate it. And now that it's active, you see we have a new menu option right here. Let's click WP fastest catch. And now let's actually enable the catch system to on to ensure that our content is catched. And now let's go to the CDN tab right here and let's select other CDN providers. And right here, let's actually enter our CDN URL as is. So as you may notice right here, it's my CDN.tech with Humphrey.biz and my main origin URL, which is the URL for this particular WordPress server. So you can notice that the CDN URL is the accelerated link, where the origin URL is the main WordPress site server domain. So let's click next. Let's select the file types. Let's keep all selected. And now specify sources. Now let's ensure that all sources are served to the CDN. Click next. And now we are ready to go. Let's just click finish. So now the integration is ready and we are ready to use the Vultr CDN on this particular domain right here. So let's just click close. So if we go back to accessing this site as a regular visitor and simply refresh this site a little bit as a regular user, right click to go to the inspect tab. So now that we have refreshed this particular tab, you can actually see that we have a new result, which is mycdn.tech with Humphrey.com. So you can see that the content has changed from the original content that is served from our domain to the content that is served from our CDN. So by expanding this, you can see that all content, including the themes and all images, are served from the CDN endpoint. And just to refresh this again to verify the change, you can actually see that our main WordPress domain only serves the index page and all other content is served from the Vultr CDN. And so if we navigate back to our administrator dashboard, you can actually see that WP fastest cached options are actually active, whereas our CDN, we have enabled all regions, and we can actually monitor its performance within the overview tab and any billing costs that are associated with this particular Vultr CDN Pull Zones subscription. And so in our demo, we have explored how you can actually create a Vultr CDN Pull Zone and install a plugin such as WP fastest catch or whichever preference you may have to actually integrate your Vultr CDN Pull Zone with your WordPress site. This integration ensures that your WordPress site performance improves, and so do your search rankings and your overall user experience. So I hope you did find this Vultr Tech Talk useful. If you did, I'd like to thank you for watching and see you in the next Vultr Tech Talk.